The New York Jets fall to the New England Patriots in prime time, and despite strong showing from the defense, the Jets have a major issue with Aaron Glenn and Justin Fields. We'll get on that and more, and your comments and responses after tonight's loss. This all coming up on the latest episode of Rich Sports Talk. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rich Sports Talk, your home for all the latest and greatest on the New York Jets. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our latest content. You can check us out wherever podcasts are available. And again, if you want to check us out on the live stream, make sure to like and subscribe. We go live after every single Jets game with all your thoughts on the New York Jets. And today, once again, is an incredibly frustrating day for the New York Jets. And there's a lot I'm going to say about this game. We can talk about the defense slow start. We can talk about the wide receivers and A.D. Mitchell dropping passes. And again, if you want to get your comments, we'd love to get your events. Super chat to jump to the front of the line. There is one very simple thing in this game that I think needs to be addressed. And I think it's on the minds of every single Jet fan. And it's in the thumbnail, as you can see. The Justin Fields experiment needs to end. I'm sorry. This is just needs to end with Justin Fields. It is clear that he is not an NFL quarterback. The Jets have tried this. It hasn't worked. It is time to admit defeat and move on, whether it's Tyrod Taylor, whether it's Brady Cook, whether it's a Desmond Ridder, whether it's anything else. Because this, to me, will be a seminal moment in Aaron Glenn's tenure. And again, I'm waiting to see what his press conference will be. I have it up right now on SNY. We'll get all the latest. But here's the biggest thing. Aaron Glenn, when he came and took this job, preached that he would have accountability. He would hold players to the mark. He would hold players to accountability. If they messed up, they would get the boot. Let me see. So Xavier Gipson drops a punt week 1. He's gone. Isaiah Williams drops a punt. He's gone for a week. Quincy Williams, out of nowhere, gets benched. Seemingly the only two Jets that the rules don't apply to, apparently, are Justin Fields and Michael Clemens. And look, Michael Clemens is a different case. It's a defensive end. I don't know if they love Tyler Barron, who, of course, had a tackle for a loss, and I did not have that on my bingo card. But I just look at Justin Fields. It is clear that he's not only not an NFL quarterback. He shouldn't be on the field. Missing passes, overthrows, throwing behind receivers. And yes, A.D. Mitchell had brutal drops tonight. But maybe part of the reason these receivers are having these drops is the quarterback's throwing fastballs on every play with no touch, throwing them all over the place, not getting in a rhythm. And look, you see moments. It's like Zach Wilson. I feel like I'm watching Zach Wilson again. Like, you'll get a taste. That first drive of the game was a taste of what Justin Fields can do. The other touchdown drive was a taste of some of the things he can do on the football field. But it's not good enough. Since the Steelers game, let's just go through this. Justin Fields, let's play a game, ladies and gentlemen. How many times does Justin Fields throw under 120 yards? Which, again, he has the fewest yards in the league, but that's near there. 120 yards. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, 5 times. 5 times as a starter. His completion percentages, 57%, 54%, 50%, 52%. Justin Fields is afraid to throw the football down the field. How many times tonight did he throw the ball 3 to 2 yards short of the sticks when it was a crucial third down? I'm sorry, but this experiment needs to end. It is clear that Justin Fields is not the answer. And if Tyrod Taylor isn't the answer because he gets injured and you don't feel Brady Cook's the answer, you better go find someone. Because the last stretch of this season is very important for this culture. Because you need to establish that you're going to hold people accountable. If you're not going to hold Justin Fields accountable, I think you're going to start losing this locker room because Quincy Williams flying around like a bat out of you-know-what over the last 8 quarters since his benching. I look at the guys playing hard. Even this defense, the first 2 drives of the game were not great. This defense clearly doesn't have the horsepower. But you know what they did after those first 2 drives? They settled in and allowed this team opportunities to get back into this football game. Even after Justin Fields had an absolutely horrendous fumble, which wasn't really a bad snap, and he doesn't fall on the ball, the defense holds the Patriots to a field goal. This defense also holds them to a field goal at the end of the first half, and Aaron Glenn successfully ices the kicker to save the Jets another 3 points. You look at the 52 other players on this roster tonight, they did everything they could to be in a competitive game, and Justin Fields just flushed it down the toilet. And I don't care what Aaron Glenn says. Aaron Glenn cannot come to me and say, well, I got to watch the film. If you have to watch the film to see how piss poor that performance was, I am sorry. Justin Fields, I understand he has athleticism. I understand Tyrod Taylor has a durability as a glass shed right now. But you cannot look those guys in the face and say you did everything to not only hold people accountable, but to win this game. Because me and every other Jet fan have had this thought multiple times this season. What if he was put into the Bronco game in London when the game was so close with Tyrod Taylor? Do the Jets have a win over the Broncos? If they put him in earlier against the Panthers, do they have a win against the Panthers? If they put him in tonight, not just in the first half, not at the end of the first half, even in the third quarter, when this got to a 2-possession game, I tweet, I'm like, you have to try it. Tyrod is your best passer. You see this team. They don't respect this offensive line. This is a good offensive line, but they're not even spying Justin Fields. So, like, you know what? Let him run. We don't care. We know he can't beat us down the field. I thought the defense played their asses off. I thought this defense played well enough for this team to have an opportunity to win this game. And unfortunately, this offense has 105 pass yards, was 1 of 2 in the red zone. And again, I know people are going to get on A.D. Mitchell, and he had a horrendous game. But I look around and I'm looking, John Mechie was making plays tonight. Your young tight end is making plays tonight. You have Tanner Engstrom scheming guys wide open. You look at it, it's like you have everything in place except the quarterback. And here's the thing, Aaron Glenn. You can try to fool Jet fans on a lot of things. But there is one thing that we unfortunately are experts in, and that is bad quarterback play. We have seen the worst of the worst in the NFL. And somehow Justin Fields continues to lower the bar even lower. And again, I understand that he probably is the most talented quarterback on this roster, but Tyrod Taylor at least is a professional quarterback. And if you don't think Brady Cook can take snaps, you worked out Desmond Ridder. You worked out other players this offseason. Give them an opportunity. As Aaron Glenn is now coming to the podium, just trying to see some of his cons right now. I'm just fascinated to see what he's going to say. I don't think he's going to make the switch tonight, but you cannot say that Justin's our quarterback going forward. I mean, you've been playing that game. Oh, we don't know who our quarterback is. I have a serious question for Jet fans, and let me know in the comments. Super chat to jump to the front of the line. Can you somehow tell me, Zach Wilson was worse than Justin Fields? I'm really having this conversation in my head. I feel Justin Fields looks worse than Zach Wilson. I'm serious. Think about this. Justin Fields has only had over 100 passing yards 2 times in the last 5 games. You can't win in today's National Football League. It's just so frustrating that you look at this team, and again, you made the decision to move off of Aaron Rodgers, which again, I do think is the right decision. But I feel like Darren Muji is doing a good job there, but I just look again. I know you're trying to protect your players, Aaron Glenn, but wow. Look, Justin Fields is not an NFL quarterback. And I mean, Willie Colon is just slamming him right now in the post game. It is just so frustrating. it is just so mind-boggling to watch this team at times. And some of the Aaron Glenn comments. Justin Fields on his performance, not good enough. Wow, that's a shocker. Aaron Glenn, Justin Fields, there's some good things. There's some really good things. Said there were some plays our guys got to make from. Outside of A.D. Mitchell, what plays? He's throwing behind guys. He's throwing at their feet. Guys are literally standing here with, throw it to me, and he's missing. What are you watching, Aaron Glenn? What are you watching? Like, why the Jets got away from Justin Fields running the ball for first drives. We didn't want to make a habit of having our quarterback run because that puts him in harm's way. I don't care. Because you know what he can't do? He can't throw the football. I mean, at this point, like, I know Aaron Glenn is doing this weird thing to try to protect his quarterback, but come on, Aaron. Come on. You can't tell us that you're going to hold these guys accountable and not sit him. You already have benched him this season for Tyrod. It's not that hard. And I understand there's not a great option on this team, but you have now a mini bye. Let Tyrod get back. And if Tyrod's not healthy, guess what? Sign Desmond or sign someone. Because Justin Fields doesn't look like an NFL quarterback. He barely looks like a backup quarterback. He doesn't even look like a rosterable quarterback. If anything, you're looking at him going, could he be a running back or something? Because you had an opening drive where Justin Fields, the best part of his game is running the football. And you get away from that because you're trying to protect. Well, what does Justin Fields have in the equity for this franchise? Justin Fields, like, I just don't get it. I understand that Justin Fields, you made this investment in him this offseason, but you're now a 2-8 football team. You have to, you can't just say Justin Fields is a good player. Justin Fields is a good player. He's not a good player. He's not a good player. If Tyrod Taylor plays in the Bronco game, if he plays in this Patriot game, is there a world where the Jets have 4 wins this season? I'm sorry, but you can't defend your players and be that, oh, we have to figure it out. We have to look at the tape. No, you cut your kick return after he fumbled a kick return week 1. You cut Isaiah Williams. You bench Quincy Williams for reasons you haven't disclosed. Yet for some reason, if you don't think that Tyrod Taylor is good enough to run your offense or Brady Cook, you should have looked for other options at the trade deadline or some options in free agency. I mean, you actions to me speak louder than words, Aaron Glenn, because last I checked, you and Darren Muji, you worked out quarterbacks 2 weeks ago. You worked out quarterbacks, so you can't be telling me you're that convicted. And the biggest problem I look at is you're trying to hold all these guys accountable for their performance. You held Quincy accountable. You hold all these guys accountable. But for whatever reason, with Justin Fields, and I understand the quarterback position is different, but what has Justin Fields seriously shown you this year? He is having some of the worst games we've ever seen an NFL player quarterback. And we've seen a lot of those with the Jets. He's had a game this year where he's had negative 10 net passing yards. And in that game, you didn't think that. And again, you're putting this on the receivers. Oh, guys need to help him with the drops. Here's an idea. Have Justin Fields lead them. Hit them in the hands, not throw behind them or throw it in the turf. Yes, A.D. Mitchell had a drop or two that probably would have helped. But those receivers are like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What catchable balls did we have tonight? Like, again, we can talk about little moments in this game. Again, the Jets fought in this game. Certain situations you were hoping they would be able to stick up. I think that it's clear that this roster, we're seeing what this team needs. They're definitely going to need to add another edge, a good third edge, definitely another interior edge / interior pass rusher, because I think they have a good run stopping duo with Phillips and Jawan Briggs. Briggs has a little bit in the pass rush, but I think they need someone that can get up the field like JFM used to do. I think Quincy's someone that's playing his butt off. He's someone I'd give an extension to. Obviously, they're thin at corner right now after all the trades. And, of course, the A.Z. Thomas injury. Quantez Stiggers gets nicked up tonight. And, again, Jets can't get an interception. Shocker. But this is just, it just comes off to me that you're just lying to these players, because it's clear Justin Fields cannot be this team's quarterback. At this point, I think you need to just eat the money and just move off of him at the end of the season, because these performances are not just bad, they are historically bad. And you look back at this season, and this is why I think Jet fans are even more frustrated and pissed off, because you're going to oversee the development of a rookie quarterback either in 2026 and 2027. As a good head coach, you had to have the wherewithal to understand certain days they might not have it, and you might have to protect themselves. You have to understand what a good performance is and what looks good. If you think this looks good for quarterback play, I mean, what are the really good things? The really good things, Aaron Glenn, are his running ability. But you took that away from him because you didn't want him to get nicked up. So you got to make a decision. You either have to put him out there, put him in harm's way, risk and get hurt to do what he does best. And again, the Jets could have done better with the details. Again, the penalties, I thought there were some tic-tac penalties that went against the Jets. But overall, the biggest story to me is Justin Fields. He should not start the rest of this season. Because we're not just talking about a bad quarterback. We're talking about a historically bad quarterback. We're talking about a quarterback that, once again, did not have 100 passing yards until the fourth quarter, where basically the Patriots were playing prevent defense. And he also this game could have been a lot uglier if the Jets defense didn't stand on their heads and hold the Patriots to the field goal after Justin Fields fumbles a decent enough snap, lets it sit on the turf, doesn't fall on it, tries to run and make a play with it. The other thing, too, learn from your across-town rivals. Brian Dable and Joe Shane, again, I don't know why Joe Shane is still employed, but, they kept telling their owner, don't worry about, say, don't worry about, we got this. If your owner are not good, but we season, he said, look, the quarterback play has been terrible. Is it the right thing to say publicly for a player? No, but is he that wrong? I was actually thinking about this today. I think it is very important to do this because, and again, I'll get to your comments, super chat to jump to the front of the line. I wanted to look at something. Again, I'm losing my voice because the Jets just drive me crazy. So I wanted to look at this. I was saying when I started the show, is Justin Fields worse than Zach Wilson? Is he worse than Zach Wilson, in terms of game by game? And I'm trying to bring it up right now. So let's look at Zach Wilson's 2020. Let's look at his rookie season. Again, I don't know why the game logs is being weird right now. So in his rookie season, his worst game was against the Patriots, 51 yards. And then the 87 one against Buffalo. So just in Zach Wilson's rookie season, where he had two of his worst games, he had less than 100 yards passing twice. Justin Fields has done it multiple times this season. So yeah, Zach Wilson, who has been one of the big, Justin Fields has somehow made us miss him. Again, super chat, jump to the front of the line. Let's get to some of your comments, your reaction to this game. Look, it was definitely a frustrating game. Again, super chat, jump to the front of the line. Guarantee your spot picked out. Again, your thoughts in here. Fields must go. It's not fair. What Aaron Glenn, I agree. Completely agree. I don't know. I'm wondering if there's blackmail, Melvin. I can't rationalize it. And again, there was a moment in this game, Connor Hughes pointed it out, that Tyrod Taylor was warming up, and maybe they thought Fields was nicked up, but apparently he wasn't. He went back in the game. To me, I don't get it. I don't get what they're doing because, again, my big thing too is this. And I agree. I feel if you had decent quarterback play, you could win. And look, the penalties were bad. The drives are not sustainable in this game. and I agree, Lil Waste, they need to blitz more. The problem is I don't think they have the personnel. I think Quincy's a good blitzer. Sherwood struggled with it. Kiko is not really going to bring it. I think the problem, too, is right now they're so unsettled in the secondary that I do think this team wants to bring like some safety and corner blitzes, but they're just trying to basically hold down the fort right now with all these injuries. I mean, look, but again, Melvin, I can't be too hard. The script got away from them. But again, line up a receiver. Like, that's the thing, too. Like, you think about if the Jets had even below average quarterback play, there's a scenario we're a 4-win football team. Like, that's the thing that to me is so frustrating, and I don't get what it is. And guys are open like he's throwing late, and he's throwing short of the sticks. How many times tonight is he throwing 3 to 4 yards short of the sticks? You need to get a first down. It's just so much frustrating. It is just so frustrating. Again, this is the Patriots team. And look, I'm glad. I don't think the Jets got absolutely embarrassed, which, again, was one thing I was dreading tonight. But, it's just so frustrating to see this. Again, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. I mean, I'm guessing it's not good, Momo. I'm guessing it's going to be awkward plane ride back. I mean, yeah. And look, it's clear to me. I don't think Muji's a bad GM, but to me, here's my biggest point, and I said it last week after the last game. This season right now is about trying to win a couple games, building the culture, and basically establishing yourself. But you need to find answers to questions. You need to find out. John Mechie, I thought, had a really nice game tonight. Can he be a top 3 or 4 receiver for you next year so you don't have to draft that depth piece? Can Tyler Barron, who they activated tonight, had a tackle for loss, can he maybe show you a reason to roster him next year? Can Kiko or Quincy establish themselves as linebackers, and Quincy maybe becomes a long-term part of the plan? After watching the last 2 games, he better be a part of it because he's flying around this defense without abandon. He looks like the old Quincy. When AZ Thomas gets back, is he going to be a part of this team? Like, you have to look, too, like AD Mitchell, again, had a rough night tonight. Can he bounce back? But you're not going to find the answers to these questions when you don't have someone that can function. Like, the offense isn't functional with Justin Fields unless he's running around playing the Air Force style or Army style option game. They're not moving the football. They can't score. They can't move the football. And again, like, they worked out Desmond Ridder, I think, 2 weeks ago? And I've been pounding the table. I know some people, Desmond Ridder stinks. Desmond Ridder stinks. Desmond Ridder stinks. At least Desmond Ridder, to me, is an NFL backup quarterback. I can't even say the same thing for Justin Fields right now. Serious question, would Justin Fields be a backup with the way he's playing? Would he be a backup? I think a team would bring him into camp with his draft pedigree, with his athleticism. But I'm looking at Desmond Ridder. He's an 8-10 quarterback who completes 64% of his passes, has a 16 to 14 touchdown interception ratio. He's someone that can function in an offense. He at least can play the quarterback position somewhat functionally. I mean, give him an opportunity. Like, it's just so frustrating. Like, I'm less confident with Justin Fields than I was with Zach Wilson. And I never thought I would say that, but I really feel that way right now. And the more you continue to trot Justin Fields out there, the more you show that you are an unserious decision maker. You talk about changing the culture. You talk about changing the culture, how people view the Jets. You talk about accountability. What's that? Because that is not an NFL quarterback. That is someone that has let your team down multiple times this year. And I understand you don't want to put your quarterback in harm's way running, but when the only thing he can do well on the football field is run, when he cannot function as a passing quarterback, you either run him into the ground or you find someone else, because this is not sustainable. You can't say there's some good things, really good. What are the really good things, Aaron? Tell me, what are the really good things? When he throws at the receiver's feet, went on an out pass, which is one of the easiest routes in the NFL. He's throwing behind AD Mitchell. Is it, bouncing balls? Is it holding on the football too long? Is it really good when he's throwing 3 to 4 yards short? Tell me what's really good. What's really good? The one really good thing is his running. And guess what? You've basically told us, we don't want him running because we're afraid he's going to get hurt. Well, you either have to make a decision. You either run this option style thing into the ground or you make a decision. And if Tyrod's not healthy, if Brady Cook isn't ready to take the field, give someone else an opportunity. I'll give you this, Aaron Glenn. Your defense was competitive. This was a much more competitive game than I thought was be, and especially with the quarterback you've had. And I just look at this right now. If you had something at quarterback, and that's why I have a little bit of hope with this coaching staff, because I do think you have a good OC. I do think you have a guy that has good play development. And I think you have a defense that's finally getting settled. But you can't look at those guys and say, I think Justin Fields gives you the best opportunity to win. It is so frustrating watching this team play quarterback. And I know the Jets don't have great receivers. I understand they don't have Garrett Wilson. You have to be accountable. You keep preaching accountability. You want accountability? Guess what? Justin Fields, he's not our quarterback. We're going to give Tyrod a chance. If that doesn't work, we'll reevaluate it. Again, you're not going to have Garrett Wilson in week 15. This is an opportunity. Like Tyrod Taylor, I look at Tyrod Taylor, not that he's going to help this team win games, but can this offense function? It's like when the rookie first 2 seasons of Zach Wilson, when we saw this team go to Mike White, when we saw this team go to Joe Flacco, when we saw this team, I'm forgetting who was again, in the Colts game, someone remind me in the chat, was the 4th quarterback, the guy that got off the couch. They all came into the offense with Zach Wilson struggling. We're all throwing over 250 yards a week. So you need to answer questions. You need to also build up the confidence of your players. You need Mason Taylor to get touches. You need John Mechie to get touches. You need A.D. Mitchell to get touches. You need these players to continue to develop, have opportunities to grow, and see what they can bring to the table. You're not going to see that when Justin Fields is throwing behind receivers. And yes, AD had a rough night tonight. He had a bad drop on the go ball. But the other drop they're killing him, he was throwing behind him. The other thing, too, is you look at Justin Fields. Like, he's throwing the ball low. He's throwing the ball all over the place. It's just so frustrating. And again, let's get to your comments. Super chat, jump to the front of the line. Momo Adam with the super chat. Thank you so much for the donation, as always. Always appreciate the love and support. Again, good to have you in here. Again, super chat, jump to the front of the line. Yeah, Brady Cook at this point, I don't see what you have to lose. I really don't. And look, Zach could at least throw the football. Like, again, and I know people are killing Woody, but Woody was right. He's onto something. I don't need to look at the film. I just have to look at this game. Yeah, the penalties were bad in this game, but look, I think that the penalties were big in this game. I thought a couple were really tic-tac in this game. But look, John Mechie had a nice game, 3 catches, 45 yards, and the touchdown. But when it comes to it, I mean, the Jets are dead last in passing yards. The National Football League is a passing league now. You cannot survive this way. And again, the Jets, it's frustrating they can't force turnovers. But I just look at this game too, and I just look at how this team played tonight. It's frustrating because you see that they have some groundwork here. It's clear they have some good things. But again, 7 penalties for 62 yards aren't going to get it done. 140 yards rushing on the ground. I mean, Breece Hall, again, you got to keep feeding him. Only 14 carries, 58 yards with 4.1 on the ground. Isaiah Davis, only 2 carries in this game. And I like what Tanner Engstrom did in the second half, and you saw it on the broadcast. Justin Fields is afraid to go vertical, so he's stretching the defense by going side to side with all the motions. And, I mean, it's clear you have an offensive coordinator that's thinking, but you're asking basically your offensive coordinator right now with Justin Fields, okay, we need you to call plays with both your right arm, your left arm, and your left foot tied behind you. It's nearly impossible. And I feel bad. Like, if I think of anything, I feel bad for this defense. I feel bad for this offensive line. It's so frustrating. Alex, yeah, love Alex bringing in the socket wrench analogy. Gotta love that. Well, they're not going to be able to do that till the offseason, if anything. And look, they had the chance to draft him. I don't think that's going to happen. And look, it's just so frustrating to me too, because Justin Fields. The problem with me is also this. You keep telling us that you believe in Justin Fields and that you think he can be the successful quarterback. Justin Fields tonight threw 26 passes. And let's be frank, the only reason he got over 20 was because this team was down 2 possessions in the fourth quarter, and they had to throw basically out of necessity. Justin Fields this season, like I wanted to look this up. How many games has he attempted over 26 passes? Which again, I would say the average in the NFL is 35 to 40 pass attempts, probably 35. He has only thrown over 25 pass attempts this year in all the games 3 times. Cincinnati, Dallas, and Miami. And Miami was 27. So he's only gone over 30 twice. It's clear that they don't trust him throwing the football because you're either not letting him throw it down the field or he doesn't trust himself. And if you don't see that with this quarterback, I really don't know what you're watching, Aaron Glennon. And look, Darren Muji, I know it's clear this team's going to take a quarterback at some point. But right now, if you're Darren Muji, and I'm going to talk to Darren Muji about this, and I know Aaron Glenn's a big part of your decision-making, but for this fan base, just tease us. Just say you worked out a quarterback on Monday. Because guess what? You have 10 days. You have a short bye. If Tyrod Taylor is not healthy, and I don't know what Tyrod's health is, usually probably not good. But if you are this team in this front office, work out whatever veteran quarterbacks are available. Because you need something on this team. And I understand it. Look, part of this is tough for me too, because I do see this team showing growth in areas, and I want to believe in Aaron Glenn because he's going to get at least another year. But when you look at the results, especially with the quarterback position, you're like, if they had an okay quarterback, how much better would they look? But the other thing, too, is, and I'm not saying Tyrod Taylor's going to come in and the Jets are going to go on this magical run down the stretch. Far from that. I'll be happy Tyrod gets 2 starts before he gets hurt. But right now, you have the Ravens on the road next. Do you really feel comfortable with Justin Fields going into that game? And look, here's the other good thing. You're off of prime time. You don't have to worry about it. You're going to be in the 1 o'clock obscure window. Just finish out this season. Just finish out with some pride and just show these players that you want them to succeed. Because if Justin Fields cannot complete passes, which he cannot, he's not an NFL quarterback. He is not. And some commentating Mitchell was asked what he thought changed for the Jets offense the first drive. If I could really point anything, I would point the finger at myself and say I need to perform better. Hey, at least someone's got accountability. I'll give 80 this. At least he's accountable. You want to show your accountability, Aaron Glenn? I know there's some good things. I'll try to find the good things. Again, I don't know where they are. Again, Super Chat jumped to the front of the line. Let's get some more of your comments. Our OC is scheming guys wide open. Yeah, and you can tell it's hold on to the ball, hold on to the ball, hold on to the ball, hold on. Oh, I got to. And even when he's holding, he doesn't have the internal clock. Like the last drive too, like Aaron Glenn, like this is the other thing that bothers me too. Aaron Glenn's saying, I think he's trying to protect Justin Fields more than anything. I think behind closed doors, maybe he's already making the move to Tyrod. But like you could see on that last drive, he is screaming, hurry up on the sideline because Fields does not have the presence to say, you know what, we're under 3 minutes. We got to score, get a stop, and then have time to score again. And you could just tell Aaron Glenn was getting pissed, like run the play. And then on the third down play, he drops back, 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. No one's open, but the way the pass rush was, it opened up the middle of the field so he could take off and get the first down, but he held it for another 2 or 3 seconds, and by the time that happened, the pocket collapsed. So it's just bad. Yeah, he's got to play better. But look, with the other thing too is he doesn't have a quarterback that's giving him a lot of touch. That's the other thing too. And look, Brees Hall, he had less than 14 carries today. Like, you saw what happened last week. You gave him the football, good things happen. Just even when you're losing, throw it to Brees, line up a receiver, do something, man. Just do something. I think he's trying to win. I actually don't think he's trying to tank. JW, we must draft a quarterback. If we don't take a quarterback in the first, got to take one in the second. Can't come back in the third. I think that there's a couple scenarios. I brought up a scenario on the last on the Sunday recap, or maybe I think they're kind of telling you they like this quarterback class. They love the 2027 one. I would say, like, if they really love Mendoza, they could go get him. But a part of me thinks they're going to try to build out this roster. I do think if they don't draft a quarterback early, they'll try day 3. 2 names I keep an eye on. I mentioned Drew Aller from Penn State again. I think his stock is going to plummet just because, the injury. I think he could be an interesting, big physical athlete, someone that maybe not the pressure, but if your season goes sideways, someone you could bring in. I mean, one guy I'm very high on, and again, he's starting to actually even get some Heisman attention. And I think he could be an interesting day 3 kid, is Joe Fagnano from UConn. Again, I've seen the kid play. A little bit older of a prospect. He's going to be 25 when we get to the draft, but 6'4", 225. Not a huge athlete, but can move well enough. Very accurate passer. For those who don't know, he's thrown 25 touchdowns this season with 0 interceptions for nearly 3,000 yards. So he's someone that I don't think he's not going to get into the first 2 days of the draft. But I look at him as kind of that game manager that I think can win from the pocket and at least be a highly efficient quarterback. I mean, he's also interesting, too. He's the first SBS quarterback to throw 25 touchdowns and 0 picks since Marcus Mariota in 2013. I think there was a stat, too. I think he's the first quarterback since Joe Burrow to throw 3 touchdowns over 250 yards in consecutive games. So, again, I think he's a kid I would keep an eye on. I don't think he's going to be he's going to be at the top end of the draft, but to me, he could be a nice round 4 pick you bring in, very least, as a good backup, highly accurate quarterback. So, again, that's just a different scenario I would go to address the position. JW must draft the quarterback. If we don't take a quarterback in the first or second, you can't. I don't think they're going to come back with Justin. I think they're even going to eat the money. I don't know, Momo. It's clear that they've had the brass really following him. I don't know. I like Mendoza a lot, but again, if you don't love the kid, you don't take the kid. Like, you can hit on all your draft picks, but you miss on the quarterback. Yeah, he looked good too. It was funny. You bring up Mensah. That was actually a good game. I was actually watching both of him and Joe because they actually played each other. It was UConn Duke last Saturday. So of all the college games, I was watching that one. And no, you're right. Mensah does have a lot of mobility. I think he's definitely a better athlete than Fagnano, but I just think like Fagnano reminds me so much of Jared Goff in terms of the style play, or Mac Jones. Again, they're good enough to scramble to pick up a couple yards and at least maneuver in the pocket, but to me, they're highly accurate quarterback. I will believe that when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. I just don't think Cincinnati's they are paying $1 bajillion in wide receivers to Jamar Chase and TK. I doubt they're going to do that. He's their franchise. Like, I just don't see a way that happens. We have to draft a quarterback. The free agent class is bad. Sam Howell and Trey Lance is not. Okay, well, the answer to that question is just terrible. Let's just be honest. So, and look, you're not going to find great free agent options at the quarterback position. I mean, look, Jets found that out the hard way with Justin Fields this year. I mean, does that not prove the case? Again, super chat, jump to the front of the line, like and subscribe. Make sure to check out our podcast whenever. Yeah, sorry. You always check us out with our podcasting. We're on wherever podcasts are available. Super chat, jump to the front of the line. Again, we're going to have a lot of great draft content throughout the season. So, and the other thing too, I know you want to pull on the receivers tonight, but they were here 9 days ago. Your quarterback is basically, I mean, he's not able to complete the passes. And you look, this is also a team, they're a bad team, but I looked at their still signs of life, because let's look at this too. The Patriots, which again is painful just seeing where they are, but they're going to be competing for the number 1 seed. And look, the Jets had multiple opportunities to win this game. I thought the defense stood tough. I thought they played well against an MVP candidate. I think the run defenses looked really good. But again, I think you're seeing some of the missing pieces. They obviously are going to need another edge. I think they really like their first and second down defense with Phillips and Briggs. Briggs can add a little umph to the passers, but it's clear they need to get a little bit more speed at the linebacking core so they can blitz from that level. I think it's clear that they have some building blocks, but it's clear that, again, with the injuries, with the moving pieces, that they have some pieces to add in the offseason. I think the special teams has looked good. And look, like I thought you had a nice game from Mason Taylor. Brees is Brees. The offensive line, again, was not allowing a sack until the fourth quarter, where Justin Fields was just panicking. I mean, I do see a different team than I did earlier this season, even without Quinnen and Sauce. But, I just look at this. And again, Brownlee, I don't think had a great game today. I don't think Stevens had his best game, although he had a really nice pass breakup late in this game. But, Breece Hall, honestly, it was just on us not making plays. I feel like Justin played his tail off today, put the ball out there. We just got to do a better job. At least Breece is defending him. We got to do a better job making it easier for the O-line and our quarterback. I mean, it's tough because I think the hard part with Justin is this. I think Justin is a kid this locker room clearly loves. I think this is someone that they really appreciate and they really like, and you want to root for the kid, but it's to the point now. I just don't see it. Again, JW, it's just like to take a flyer on him day 3. I agree that he needs to work on the accuracy. It's more of just so you have a flyer on day 3. But they have to get someone here who can win games. You can't go with 13. Yeah, I think you have to show some scenario improvement. It's funny how many quarterbacks Garrett Wilson went through, and already you're going to bring in another one next year. Ouch, that really hurts. To be honest, JW, I'm still going through my pre-draft analysis. So again, I want to watch more tape before I can give you that analysis. But again, I'm definitely keeping an eyes on them as well. Some of the penalties on Bradley that I thought were a little tic-tac, if I'm honest. I thought some of the penalties in this one. I laughed because I think Brownlee had the one where he's finishing a tackle. They called that. But then the next, I think it was a play or two later, one of the Patriots on a run came and I think blocked Quincy back through the hole. And I'm like, oh, no block in the back on that call? Okay. So, it's just it's just frustrating. And look, I think Aaron Glenn needs to keep working on that. Brownlee blames it, said they had miscommunications on the defense. And look, it was a tough night for this defense too. And all things considered, I mean, let's also look at this. This is a short week. You've lost in the last, 14 days? You lost your arguably one of your starting nickel quarterbacks. I know Michael Carr wasn't starting, but he was a depth piece. You lost Sauce, who was your number 1 corner. A.Z. Thomas, who was probably your number 2 with the concussion. You hope he's back next week. I mean, Quantez Stigers, who you had out there, had to lead this game with the hamstring. I mean, you were really thin in the back end. And look, this isn't exactly a great back end, especially at the safety position. But, overall, again, this is a really good Patriot team and a really good Patriot offense. And I thought after the first 2 series, I really thought this defense really settled down. I thought that, Quincy had the great blitz, of course, got negated because of the penalty. But I mean, you look to, I just think that when I look at this defense, is it a great defense? No, but I thought they at least held up. And look, the coverage was bad tonight. It's clear that they were thin in the secondary, but overall, this defense gave them chances to win. And, it's frustrating. And I look at this team too, like certain things I like. I think Ruckert has improved this year. I think he's a solid number 2 and has worked well in special teams. I think the special teams has looked really good this year. I think some of the new pieces have looked really well. The problem is, and again, you see this is the problem. If you don't have a good quarterback or a competent quarterback, you can't win in this league. And there were so many opportunities tonight, but you just knew. To be honest, I wouldn't. 14 years. And I just think that Trevor Lawrence, he just hasn't played up to a certain level. And again, they've done a lot of things for him. They've had a lot of pieces. They have a lot of different coaches. And again, it's going to cost you draft capital a lot of money. And again, is it an upgrade over what you have? Sure. And I like the creative thinking going outside the box. I'll give you that. But I just don't think that is the best one too. Let's see. I think the Jets will go with the best player of the first 2 picks. Caleb Downs or Woods, then number 2 receiver. I mean, the thing that's nice, JW, with this draft, this is an incredibly deep receiver draft. So the Jets also have the 2 second-round picks. They can maneuver back into round 1 if they really want, like they did with Jermaine. They can move back into round 3. They can maneuver all over the board, which really helps. So I do think that that's something to keep an eye on. And again, I think that the Jets, when I look at the board right now, unless they really love Mendoza, because here's the thing too, and I think Darren Muji, and they understand this, if you miss on the quarterback, it doesn't matter how well you do in the draft. Like Joe Douglas missed on Zach Wilson. He didn't get another job. When you miss on the quarterback, you don't get another opportunity. And like you said, if you can miss on a lot of positions, you better not miss on quarterback. So, and look, it's a frustrating night. I get it. It's just so frustrating on this, how this game ended. And look, it was frustrating to watch, some of the guys did too. And I just feel Justin Fields should not be this team's quarterback. If it's not Tyrod Taylor, then sign someone. If you don't trust, you got to get something, something. It's just so, it's just so frustrating when you see this team. It's, and again, one of the things too, like, again, they need to add more depth in the defensive end position. I just think that that's clear. And look, with AD Mitchell too, you wonder, again, first game, prime time, trying to make a big first impression. Maybe was pressing a little bit too much. Again, it's his first game. But I'm telling you, like, Justin Fields, like, it's just sad watching this. And I feel bad for Justin Fields. I just think he's lost all of his confidence. I just think he's gun shy. He doesn't think he can make plays. And he's a good kid, says the right things, but you have to, if you're Aaron Glenn, how do you look those guys in the face when you sat Quincy Williams, when you benched him publicly, especially after his brother got traded, when you have cut kick returners for dropping, but you won't hold him accountable? I just don't know. I think 14 years, this is a good question. I think his thought was, let's take a lottery pick. Because right now, the 2 ways that teams have really hit on quarterbacks in the last 10 years have been one or twofold. You hit in the draft, which is obvious, or you take someone that has been young and maybe didn't work somewhere else and see if it works. Like the Baker Mayfields, the Sam Darnolds, like those type of players. Like, can you hit that lottery ticket? They've got some years of experience. Maybe they figure it out eventually. I think what they looked at, they saw the athleticism, they saw the ability. And again, this was someone that was a top 10 draft pick. You look at that and you go, okay, we are not drafting a quarterback this year. This is not a good quarterback class, and we're not going to take one. And again, hindsight's 2020 with Jackson Dart and all that. But I think they took a lottery ticket. And they looked at it and they said, well, he played decent with Pittsburgh last year. But Pittsburgh, again, had an experienced head coach. And again, I think it's very telling. We see what Russell Wilson has been, and they still made the decision to go back to Russell Wilson. That's someone, too. If he gets cut by the Giants, I'm not touching him. Personally, I was kind of hoping that at least when they brought in Field, what I would have done is try to also bring in Jameis Winston. I would have – because if you felt Tyrod wasn't – I think you had to have the opinion that you – and again, it's hard with his injury history – that if it wasn't going to work with Fields, you were confident enough that Tyrod could be your backup quarterback. And if you felt that he wasn't going to be able to stay healthy, I think they should have invested in Jameis. But again, hindsight is 2020. Look, I've been banging the table. You've already brought him in for a workout. He's won 8 games. And again, I think it would be smart roster building because right now this is a lost season. But if Desmond Ridder plays well enough down the stretch, is it easier then if I go into the offseason saying, you know what, we're going to look for a rookie quarterback, but we really like Desmond Ridder at the very least our backup quarterback, or maybe the guy to start the season and then ease the kid in? I just think Justin Fields is unplayable, and I think the hope was Justin Fields could maybe be the bridge to get to the rookie quarterback. I don't see that happening because if he has a half like tonight again or the halves we've seen, you know every Jet fan is going to be screaming that they need to get the other kid in there. So again, like if Desmond Ridder, and we might see something happening because one thing I've given Darren Mucci and the staff credit for is acknowledging the mistakes. Again, quarterback is a different animal in terms of addressing the position. But Darren Mucci addressed the D tackle. He addressed the corner. He's addressed the wide receivers. I think that is a move you should keep an eye on. I think that Desmond Ridder is someone that if he plays well down the stretch, guess what? You have a backup quarterback. And with all the injuries we've seen in the NFL, having a good backup quarterback isn't exactly the worst thing in the world to have. So, again, I'm not sure if Mike White's a free agent. I mean, I would kick the tires on that. I'm trying to also think too. The only other thing I've been kind of thinking about is there someone. I don't think they had the chance to draft the Shedeur. I think the Browns don't want Shedeur. I don't think even the Browns wanted Shedeur. The only reason the Browns took Shedeur is because the owner wanted him. So I don't think Shedeur. I don't think they had the multiple chances to take him. They're not taking him. The only one thing I was kind of thinking of. And I'm trying to think right now of who are guys that can bring. I'm trying to think who are guys. Was there any like backups or third stringers from Detroit that are free agents that maybe Engstrom and Glenn worked with? I'm trying to remember. I think Hendon Hooker is still the backup in Detroit. No, he's with the Panthers right now. So my mistake. He's with the Panthers. I mean, I would definitely look to see if there's someone out there. But again, and there's not great options out there. Trust me. Yeah, I just saw that JW. I'm sticking away from Shedeur. I'm sorry. And look, the Jets clearly didn't want that. And look, it's clear too that yes, the Jets have to do a better job, but every time Justin Fields came on that field in the second half, you're like, why? And when they got down by 2 possessions, I'm like, look, you have to throw the football. Justin Fields isn't doing that. He's just not good enough. I mean, he got over 100 yards in the third quarter. Would Drake May have that by the midway through the second quarter? I mean, come on. It's a passing league. You have to be competent. And the Jets for most of the season, look, the fact that they've won games with, is there a worse quarterback room? The only one's maybe the Saints, but at least with Kellen Moore, I think he at least coaches them up a little bit. I mean, that's a good question. Is there a worse I don't think there's a worse starter than Justin Fields has been. And look, the stats, like again, the percentages aren't horrendous. You see the rushing stats, but at the end of the day, still with bad turnovers, the fumble was inexcusable. And I think it's frustrating too because the offensive line has to be frustrated because they've done a really good job. And you look like you bench Quincy Williams, you held him accountable. You got to hold Justin, and this to me is a good time to do it. You have the mini bye. Again, you don't want to announce your quarterback, Aaron Glenn, fine. But there better be some competition. I mean, let's also look at this too. You were going to start Tyrod for the Bengal game before he got hurt. So, I mean, I think for all options need to be on the table for the Jets, especially quarterback. Again, Super Chat to jump to the front of the line. I mean, look, there's a reason he was an undrafted free agent. I mean, Adrian Martinez basically went. I didn't think there was a huge difference between, to be honest with you. I'm surprised Bray Cook's on this is on the practice squad. I mean, but I get what you're saying. It's the unknown and the way, he's processing. I get Kev. Good to hear from you. Late from you. Well, he's late, high, low, behind. I don't think it's ineptitude. It's kind of like, what's the option? I mean, Tyrod Taylor, we know he's a better thrower, but is Tyrod Taylor last 2 quarters? Last time he played, didn't last past 2 quarters. I mean, is it Brady Cook? I mean, there's a reason he's an undrafted quarterback. I'm of the mindset you try to find a veteran that's out on the market right now. It's just frustrating because, I mean, this is the one thing I would say too is you can't tell this fan base, that, and I get it. Coaches understand the game, the X's of better than they ever could. But you can't tell this fan base, oh, that wasn't a bad quarterback performance. Because like I said earlier in this show, there's one thing Jet fans know above anything else, and that's bad quarterback play, because we've seen pretty much every version of it possible. We're experts in it. We're experts in bad processing, bad mechanics, bad throws, plays that stick out in infamy, bad decision making. Like, we've seen it. So we know what bad looks like. You want to prove us wrong by showing us good. But until then, we know what bad looks like. And this is bad. And Justin Fields is bad. I mean, let's face it. Like, you're not going to have Garrett Wills the next 4 games. Again, I think the Jets made the right decision. It's a lost season. I'm not rushing Garrett back. I'm making sure he's 100%, especially because it was the same knee. But, man, this is just a game where you look at this team and you go, this to me just feels like the Denver game again. Like if Tyrod came in. And look, this is the problem. Teams will see this first series or two. They'll see the design runs. They'll see the options and they make adjustments. You saw it. They did it. That's why he was struggling. And look, the secondary was not great tonight, but they're incredibly banged up. They're shorthanded on the defense. But at the end of the day, this defense gave the team a chance to win. If they had competent quarterback play, they could have had a chance to win this football game. But it's clear they didn't have enough to win this game. And at the end of the day, it's clear the Jets need a new quarterback. We know they're going to address it at some point this offseason. We don't know what exactly direction they're going to go. But at this point, I think you got to go Tyrod Taylor. I think it's just fair for this roster. I really do. QB School on YouTube on Jets on breakdown Tanner scheme. Our receivers too close to each other. I'll check that out, Kev. I would keep all options open 14 years. I really would. I think you have to invest at this point. To me, Justin Fields is not an NFL quarterback. Tyrod Taylor at least shows you something. At least he took shots down the field, which is something Fields refuses to do. I mean, I would check the Lions practice squad. Is there a quarterback on that team that you like right now? Like, again, I'm trying to see. I thought Hendon Hooker could have been possibilities with the Panthers. I think he's their backup, though. So I would just be very aggressive trying to find, certain quarterbacks potentially. I'm just trying to look on here really quickly to track some of the quarterbacks on the practice squad um, that could be available. Um, no, not. Ugh. That's the problem. When you look at, to be honest, it just gets depressing. Let's see. I'll have to check on Mike White. I feel like he re-signed with another practice squad. The hard part is with the elevations. The other thing too, you got to look at elevations because that's what happened with the Giants. Where receiver, they elevated him 3 times. Receiver get to the one guy I'd look at, Kyle McCord from the Eagles. That's someone that this team, he's a rookie. They did a lot of draft evaluations on McCord. He's someone that I would look at. I'm trying to think. CJ Beathard and Malik Cunningham are on the Lions practice squad. Kyle McCord's definitely someone. And I work on Cam Miller during the draft process. He was probably the most worked out and scouted quarterback that they did. Miller was on the Raiders practice squad. I'm going to see if he's still there. I don't know. Problem is, I don't know if they've elevated him to the backup role. And I'm not, to be honest with you, fully aware of all the rules. I do know about the rule where if you elevate a guy 3 times, you don't sign him at the active roster that they become available. So again, Cam Miller, someone, again, the only reason I mention him at the shop, see one of the content creators that does a great covering the Jets, friend of the channel. He had a private day with the Jets, 30 visits, shorter quarterback, a little bit more on the athletic side, a bit spunky. They took him out of North Dakota State. I'm trying to see if he's on the active roster. I don't know. He might have been. That's the problem. I don't know if he's been elevated. So again, he's 6'1", 211. Yeah, it doesn't see if he's on the practice. I might take a flyer on him if he's available. I mean, that's someone to definitely look at. Yeah, well, they're gonna have to try at some point. Okay, that's the other thing too. You don't want to take a rookie quarterback at this point. Try to develop them as well. But I would think so. I'll take an eye. I don't know if Hendon Hooker is. I don't know if Hendon Hooker is on, because again, you're past the trade deadline. I don't know if he's on the practice squad. Although he has been cut by. He actually has been cut by the. I mean, he's someone to keep an eye on. So he's also 28, a lot older quarterback. But again, he was a 3rd-round selection by the Lions in 2023, former Tennessee quarterback. Again, they brought Mike White in, ironically enough, for the Panthers. Quarterback. I mean, what do you have to lose at this point? Especially if Glenn thinks there's something there, but we will definitely see. But again, Jets fall to the Patriots. Again, final thoughts, super chat, jump to the front of the line. Check us out wherever podcasts available. Make sure to like and subscribe so you miss our live streams to come after every single Jets game. Again, it's getting late. I can tell you guys are starting to go to bed. So I'll wrap this up, and I'll just keep it very brief. Aaron Glenn and this team, they have to develop over the last games down the stretch. I want to see growth with these players, obviously. But more importantly, I want to see accountability, and that's started with Justin Fields. We've given Fields the benefit of the doubt time and time again. It's obvious that he's not a starter. At this point, I don't even know if he's a backup quarterback in the National Football League. You have to, Aaron Glenn, you said this is not the same old Jets. You wanted to preach accountability, that this is a new regime. that you are going to hold people to the bar. You've held Quincy to the bar. You've held your kick returners to the bar. It's time to do that with your quarterback. Because if you really want to change the culture and you want to make your presence felt, that's a decision that not only I think the team would respect, but a decision that this fan base would respect. Because again, you could have gone to the hook a couple times and maybe won a couple of these games with Tyra, at least made it more competitive. We need to find answers about this roster, especially with these pass catchers. And I think the best answer to find those questions is Tyrod Taylor playing the rest of the season, or for at least as long as he can. That's going to do it for this episode of Rich Sports Talk. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here. We'll be back with more live streams throughout the season. Check us out for all the draft content. We do so much draft content, especially mock drafts and leading up to the draft process on this channel. And again, we're going to be doing a lot of that for the next 2 years covering the New York Jets. We'll have a lot of other videos coming down the pike. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you have ideas for future videos, comment below. And if you joined us after the live stream, make sure to comment, and I'll get to answer those questions as quickly as I can. Again, thank you, everyone, for joining us here tonight. Again, appreciate the comments as always. You guys are phenomenal with amazing questions as always, and I always look forward to answering them. And I look forward to seeing you next time here on Rich Sports Talk. We will see you next time.